All right, everybody. It is your boy, good old Mateus Amula. Hope you guys are having a good day. We had to stand up for this one on the good old standing desk. Interesting thing. So I logged on to YouTube, working from home today on a Friday, and saw a live stream pop up for Palantir at 12 p.m. Central Time, so 1 p.m. Eastern. So we're about 30 minutes away from that. But another thing that I saw with respect to that is the Defense Reformation, and it looks like a little bit of a white paper-ish sort of thing going on here, published yesterday. Not sure if other people have already talked about this or not, but it's written by Shyam, and it talks a little bit about some interesting stuff. So let's run through it. So as a nation, we're in an undeclared state of emergency. It talks a little bit about Russia annexing Crimea back in 2014 timeframe. China militarized the Spratly Islands in the South China Sea. Iran was allowed to pursue bombs. A decade later, we have more than 300 attacks on U.S. bases by Iran, 1,200 people slaughtered, and in a pogrom in Israel, 1 million casualties in combat in Ukraine already, and unprecedented tempo of the CCP, meaning China, in the Taiwan Straits. This is a hot, cold war. The West has empirically lost deterrence. We must respond to emergency to regain it. We have a peer adversary, China, near peer, a shibboleth, a euphemism, to avoid the embarrassment of acknowledging we have peers when we were once peerless. It's an interesting way to put it. In World War II, America was the best at mass production. I would agree with that. Today, a distinction belongs to our adversary. America's national security requires a robust industrial base, or it will lose its next war and plunge the world into darkness under authoritarian regimes. In the current environment, American industries can't produce a minimum line of ships, subs, munitions, aircraft, and more. It takes a decade or two to deliver new major weapon systems at scale. If we were in a hot war, we would only have days' worth of ammunition and weapons on hand. Even more alarming is our lack of capacity and capability to rapidly repair and regenerate our weapon systems. Given the vast sums we have spent on defense in these decades of Pax Americana, it would be reasonable to wonder what went wrong. And let's check out what good old. Let's make sure I get. Oh, that's the live stream link. So we'll be live streaming that in 30 minutes. So excited to be able to share that with you guys. The Last Supper. So I'll leave the link for the live stream if you guys are watching this. In the description. The Last Supper and Great Schism. This one's interesting. I'm not going to read through it, but what it does share is a graphic of all these different defense companies over the years consolidating into Lockheed, Boeing, RTX, Northrop, and General Dynamics. And you can see that that's from like the 80s to the 2000s. So you can see how many different companies have consolidated here. Pretty interesting. So before the fall, most important consequence of the Last Supper wasn't a reduction in competition, but the decoupling of commercial innovation from defense and the rise of government monopsony. It's an interesting word. Consolidation bred conformity and pushed out the crazy founders and innovative engineers. This is the great schism of American industrial base. Before the fall of the wall, only 6% of defense spending went toward defense specialists, so-called traditionals. The vast majority of the spend went to the companies that had both defense and commercial businesses. Chrysler made cars and missiles. Ford made satellites until 1990. General Mills, the cereal company, made artillery and inertial guidance systems. It's true. So I guess this is talking about how all these other independent companies were able to do all these things, and all those have gotten consolidated under these 5 or 6 defense companies. So you can see here's a graphic. Maybe I can zoom out a little bit, but the green is commercial companies serving defense and many other markets. The white is aero and defense companies, and the black is defense companies. So you can see a lot of commercial companies in the 70s and early 90s, and then now you just have only defense specialists like Northrop and etc. And the growth of that over time, and you can see it always kind of holds at about 100%. I'm sure there's margins of error and stuff in here. But you can see the fall of the Berlin Wall, the collapse of USSR. So you can see how things have really changed. And here's another way in bar chart form to be able to look at this. So you can see 1977 and 89. very few defense specialists, a lot of commercial folks in the green here, and you had kind of like a combo here in the gray. And since 2001, 2005, it's steadily gone to defense specialists after the fall of the Berlin Wall. But today, that 6% commercial specialists, or defense specialists, has ballooned to 86. The nomopsony, fixation on cost plus contracting control, tedious regulation has made working in the national interest bad business, suitable only to the risk-averse investors who are addicted to dividends and buybacks, a luxury only afforded to at the end of history. That's not what most dynamic parts of the American economy do, only the dying parts. Interesting to hear. And it talks a little bit about these big defense specialist companies, their market caps, their employees. When were they founded? Palantir, $100 billion. You're wrong, Shyam. No, I'm just kidding. About $100 billion market cap, 3,600 employees, only discovered and founded in 2003. You can see all these other companies, much more historic. Palantir's edition will not be the last because today the founders are back in the hundreds, and we are backed by hundreds of billions of dollars of private capital to build national interest. However, their effort and capital alone is not enough to resurrect American industrial base. We need a defense reformation to append the monopsony and transform the way government does business. Here is my treatise on how to get that done. Everyone, including the Russians and Chinese, have given up on communism except for Cuba and the DoD. The only problem we have is they're bad commies. We run a centrally unplanned process that neither has supposed advantages of a planned economy nor for the far superior advantages of a free market. Bill Greenwald explains the sins of our poor attempts at copying the communists. So there's a little bit more about this, but I'm just going to go ahead and publish this. I think it's very interesting. And I'll leave the link for this as well as the live stream in the description. But let's just talk a little bit about maybe these theses, quick things. Number one, monopsony is the root of what all ails us. Cost plus contracting makes a nation dumber, slower, and poorer. I can agree with that, and talks a little bit about, oh, here's a cool thing. This might be a little bit Rocket Lab related as well. Launch cost per kilogram. I know SpaceX has done this and shown that many a times. Number three, a budget is a plan, and no plan survives first contact. Hell yes, I love that. Number four, the person is the program, the primacy of people. Number five, the only requirement is winning. Love that. And number six, put the pebble in the right shoe. Number seven, Conway's Law. You ship your org chart. Number eight, CCMDs need budget to introduce strategic competition. What are CCMDs? It's probably somewhere else. Combatant commands. Okay. So enabling combatant commands as the buyer approximates market forces. Okay. Interesting. Number nine, national security is economic prosperity. I would agree with that. Number 10, make the primes business worthy. Love that as well. And defense revenue as a percentage of total revenue for 2023. Interesting. Where's Palantir on here? Do they not have it on here yet? Huh. Number 11, risk capital, not taxpayer capital. Number 12, small business programs should not be welfare. Number 13, the DoD and its proxy forces must stop competing with industry. Number 14, productivity is more lethal than weapon stockpiles. Number 15, reference architectures can't be created, they emerge. Number 16, the rule of law works. Number 17, let the people speak to the mission. Number 18, warriors fight with guns and git. Man, this is going to be interesting. I think this is the first big thing that I've seen Shyam do. I mean, of course, as CTO, he's done a phenomenal job laying out the land in a lot of what's coming out. Like, he introduces warp speed. He's able to, at AIP cons and founder cons, he's introduced a lot of products and been able to walk through it. But this is a huge pivot for the company. This is straight up saying, like, I think a lot of us have thought about this. I mean, a lot of the values of the organization, meaning Palantir, have always been very much about defense and about working with the government. I don't think anyone's ever been like, oh my God, these guys, this is new. This isn't new by any means. I mean, a lot of these guys got started, a lot of the contracts got started with the government. And we've seen them develop with the army and things of the like and continue to double down. But I think this is, honestly, I don't know if this is like a pivot. Not to say there can't be a commercial side, but it's very interesting that this is happening today and they're doing a live stream today when just next week they're having earnings. So this must mean something very big, and it must mean that it's big enough where they can't wait for earnings for this to be said. So anyway, I thought this was interesting. I'm very curious. 25 minutes until we have the live stream. I hope to see you guys there. But yeah, we'll see. I'll leave it at that. 10 minutes in, and we'll hopefully see more in the next 25 minutes or so. But interesting to see, and well lined out, and well organized from what I'm seeing here. Just curious to see how it hits the markets. All right, I'll talk to you guys in just a few moments. Cheers.